Welcome to the training video for your church conference this year. My name is Nako Kellam. I'm the conference administrator.
And I'm Julie Bullardick, and I'm the Senior Administrative Assistant to the Cabinet. And we're here to talk about your favorite things, church conference forms.
Yay! Yay! So all the church conference forms were sent to pastors. So if you have it in front of you, please open it. And pastors, if you haven't done so, please send it to people who are going to fill out these forms.
Right. And we're going to go through, not individually, one form at a time, but at the very beginning, we're going to show you the instruction page, it's called. So if you bring up the instruction page, this is going to tell you about the theme. Go ahead.
Yes, this is going to tell you about the theme of this year's church conference, different deadlines, and 3 options on how to have church conference. And you get to choose one of these. It's point number 3. So please read this instruction page very carefully, and then we're going to start from there.
And one of the reasons we wanted to train and get this out now is you can start at September through November, but you have to have meetings ahead of time, of course, for certain things to get approved prior to church conference.
Now, why do we have to have church conference? We're not in our previous denomination. Do we still have to have church conference? We get this question once in a while. We have to have church conference because A, this is a Methodist way of doing the church. We confer with each other and decide where God is leading us. And it's also for a church. This is for your transparency and accountability to your church members. And it is not for the annual conference. No, you're not doing this for Florida conference. The only thing we are asking you to do for the annual conference is to add us as an additional insured in your certificate of insurance and attach it with your form.
And that will remind you on the form. We'll go through. The other thing is on every place that we are asking for something, the paragraph in the Book of Doctrine and Discipline is shown. So you can go there and start learning it like I did and find out what it says. Especially for the notification for church conference. It's a little different than it was previously.
And please remember, this is for a church to acknowledge what God has done, how He has led you, and how He will be leading you as His people.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the agenda.
Yeah, so agenda is going to look like
right there.
this. Okay, so agenda is going to look like this. And these are fillable forms, so you can just type in. And there are certain things that you have to do before the actual church conference. And it's pretty similar to our previous denomination. You have to have appointed clergy compensation forms. You have to vote on their salary. You have to have nominations. You have to have membership report and audit. And also, if you have any candidates, the SPRC have to meet to recommend them to be certified candidate.
And there's a form for each of those in this email.
So we're going to go down this real quick. You have to take attendance. You have to elect recording secretary. And then thirdly, there's pastor and church report. Now, you don't have to write it down, but we ask you to present it in front of the church or church conference to see what God has done in your church past year and celebrate it. Use this opportunity to celebrate what God has done. And also use this time to testify and celebrate, but also see where God is guiding you next year.
And to do this, you'll have a choice if you're going to have a church conference or a church conference. Church conference is only your leadership, whether it be your leadership team in a modified structure or your council in the traditional. Depending on how you're going to do this, I think most lay people would prefer you do a church conference. As members, we can hear all of this. We can vote on the salary and leadership people. But we will be asking you to state that so when people sign in, it also shows that.
Next is clergy compensation. There are 3 forms that you have to fill out. That will be in your packet. So please make sure to fill this out. The one different thing that we ask you to do is if the salary changes, please go to your Guidestones EAP page and change the percentage or amount of money that you'll be sending in. We cannot touch your Guidestone EAP. You have to do it as a church.
So if you want to get the correct pension, you want to put the correct compensation in, So you're getting pension on that amount.
Next is congregational leadership. There are 4 forms in the packet. We ask you to fill out 3. And the reason there are 3 is one is the cover form that we want you to check and tell us which leadership model you're picking. And the second one is either you choose traditional model form or moderate model form. And moderate is usually one board model, which a lot of you have chosen to do.
Yeah, and then we have a page that just asks for your contact information. Instead of repeating it on all these different models, the modified or the traditional, there's one page so that we can have the emails and phone numbers of your leaders. I don't need every person on the committee, just your leaders, so that is there. If you are changing and you have a current traditional model and you are changing to a modified structure, that has to have been approved at church conference.
Yes, and please talk to your presiding elder as well if you're switching your leadership model.
Okay.
The next is church approval and support for candidates and also extension ministers. We don't call it extension
I
ministers.
know.
Extension ministers form. If you have any in your church, please check out the form and vote on candidates you'll be approving or renewing, and also get a report from ministers who are appointed outside the local church but associated with your church.
In the Board of Trustee report, we do not have a trust clause anymore. So a conference does not own your buildings, the conference does not own your finances or anything about it. However, we are also trying to help you stay compliant with what your insurance company requires. We're not self-insured. You have your own insurance company. They will require that you do certain things. And so this is some of the helps for that. The biggest thing is that you attach a certificate of insurance showing the Florida Annual Conference of the Global Methodist Church as an additional insured. And your insurance people are knowing that will be coming.
And please check this paragraph 346.6 for more information.
And ministry safe compliant, again, we are not the owners of your church, a trust clause, whatever. And but your insurance want to make sure that you're going to keep children safe and elderly and everything. So they will require also training of your volunteers, of your staff. So Ministry Safe is free to GMC churches. It's fabulous training. NACO sent me a link that I had to do, and it was amazing, and I learned a lot. So I would hope you all do that, and of course background checks do cost a little bit of money, everything else is free, and it was pretty slick how it happened.
And remember, this is for protection of your children, for youth, for your elderly people, but also for your church as well.
Okay, finance policy. Again, we don't own your funds. Conference doesn't own your funds. You have your own trust. However, your insurance company wants to make sure you have things dual controlled. You have different people counting. You have different people taking care of the books. That operational funds are different than designated funds. So there's some cabinet policy on there, but what we're going to just request of you is your cover letter of this year's annual review or audit. A review isn't the same, but it is having a look at your books. So please attach that. And if you have questions, you can email us on any of this stuff.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, please email either me or Julie. You can find our email address on our conference website. It's floridagmc.org. Please don't hesitate to ask us any questions. God bless you, and I hope you have a blessed church or church conference this year.
Have a great day.